So there's actually quite a few occupations out there that don't require a college degree. Working as an exterminator or working in pest control or as a fumigator typically doesn't require a college degree. In this video, we're going to go over the pros and cons of trying to become an exterminator or working in pest control. We're going to go over the salaries, job market statistics, and the latest trends. Coming up. Hey everyone, Stephen Hack here with Career Watch, where I help you with your career search. If you haven't been enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up to support the channel. And if you're working in pest control as an exterminator or a fumigator, let us know down in the comments below what your experience has been working in this occupation. Exterminators, fumigators, and people that work in pest control have a number of roles and responsibilities. They inspect buildings and premises for signs of pests or infestation. They try and determine the type of treatment needed to eliminate pests. They use baits and set traps to remove, control, or eliminate pests. They create barriers to prevent pests from entering a building. And typically they are experts in removing pests such as roaches, rats, ants, bed bugs, mosquitoes, ticks, and termites. A college degree is not required to become an exterminator or work in pest control. In fact, according to the Occupational Information Network, 90% of people that work as exterminators or fumigators or in pest control just have a high school diploma. About 9% have a high school diploma plus certificate. So pretty much everyone working in this occupation doesn't have higher education. In 2019, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average base salary for an exterminator or someone working in pest control was around $40,000. This was greater than landscapers, but based off of base salary, this was less than building inspectors, construction laborers, loggers, and janitors. Exterminators and people working in pest control have seen their wages grow over time. In 1999, the average base salary for someone working in this occupation was $24,120. This rose to $39,910 in 2019. This gives us a total wage growth of $15,790, or about $750 gained pretty much every single year. This means that the base salaries of exterminators and people working in pest control in 2021 would probably be around $41,400, and by 2029 the average base salary would rise to around $47,000. A starting salary for someone working in pest control as an exterminator or fumigator would probably be around $25,000 per year as a base salary. This would rise to $60,000 depending on the job market and depending on the experience level of someone working in this occupation. According to the government, the highest paying places in the United States for people working in this occupation are in the dark blue states on this map. The lighter blue states tend to pay a little bit less. So the highest paying states include the state of Washington, Massachusetts, Texas, Nevada, and the state of Ohio. The state of Idaho had the lowest base salary with an average base salary of around $31,000 for people working in this occupation. So up to this point, we've talked about employed exterminators, fumigators, and people working in pest control. In fact, 6% of people in this occupation are self-employed, and the wages do not cover these workers. The government doesn't track the income of business owners. So self-employed exterminators and fumigators could make a lot more than the average, or they could make potentially less. So that covers the compensation of people working in this occupation. Next up, what is the job market like? Is it challenging to find a job in this occupation? The first thing to understand is this is a very regional occupation. Certain states have a lot more job opportunities than others. And based off the size of the workforce, there was about 79,000 employed exterminators in 2019. This was much less than the number of employed building inspectors, construction laborers, landscapers, and janitors. So this isn't a very large occupation. This isn't a very large workforce. And as you'll see later, a lot of the jobs are in the South. The number of jobs for exterminators, fumigators, and people working in pest control has been rising over time. In 1999, there was 40,240 employed exterminators, fumigators, and pest control workers. By 2019, this rose to 79,450, meaning there was a growth of around 39,000 jobs over 2 decades, which comes out to about 2,000 jobs gained per year. Using this historical trend, we can actually kind of predict that by 2029, there might be around 98,000 employed exterminators, fumigators, and people working in pest control, whereas the government's a little less optimistic. They're predicting around 87,000 employed by 2029. And here's something you really need to understand about this occupation. It is extremely regional. The vast amount of employed exterminators, fumigators, and people working in pest control are in the South. In fact, California had the greatest number of employed with around 10,200. And then Texas and Florida are also hotspots for people in this occupation because there's way more pests, insects, rodents in the South than there are in the North. So a lot of the job opportunities are going to be in the South of the United States. Also, to gauge how competitive this occupation is, I usually go on Indeed.com and I look at the number of job postings for people in this occupation. When I searched for pest control, it gave me about 4,600 job postings. And when I searched for termite, gave me about 1,000 job postings in the title of job postings for Indeed. This gave us about 5,600 job postings across the country. When we compare the number of job postings against the number of employed, there isn't a huge shortage of people in this occupation, but there isn't a huge saturation either. It actually wouldn't be too difficult to get a job based on the number of job postings compared with the number of employed. This actually shows that there's quite a few job opportunities in southern states and the state of California in the United States. So that covers the job market for exterminators and fumigators. Next up, would this occupation be compatible with your interests? If you haven't figured out your Holland codes and taken a RIASEC assessment yet, definitely do. This is a way for you to compare your interests with people in different occupations. For exterminators and fumigators, when they take a RIASEC assessment, they tend to score high in the realistic and conventional themes. People that score high in the realistic theme tend to enjoy being outdoors, building things, repairing things, and in general, they tend to be pretty handy. Conventional people love order. They love organizing things, and they love to create order out of chaos. So if you also scored pretty high in these two RIASEC themes, this occupation might be compatible with your interests. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to becoming an exterminator, fumigator, or working in pest control in 2021. There has been significant job growth for people in this occupation over the past 2 decades. And based off the number of job postings right now, there's actually plenty of opportunity, but mostly in southern states where most of the insects are and pests are. The base salaries are not quite as much as people working in similar occupations, such as building inspectors and some of the other ones I talked about earlier. But one of the best parts about the job is there is no college degree required. You can immediately begin working in this occupation after high school. Are you an exterminator, fumigator, or do you work in pest control? Let us know down in the comments below what your experience has been. Thanks so much. And if you enjoyed watching this video, definitely check out my building inspector video. This occupation also doesn't require a college degree. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.